All right, get ready, because today we're diving headfirst into the future of healthcare, AI
Yeah,
doctors.
we're talking about a system called MEDAIDE.
And this is all thanks to a listener who sent in this research paper that really caught our attention.
It's pretty wild, right? Like, imagine having a whole team of medical
Yeah.
experts available anytime, day or night.
All powered by AI. That's the goal MEDAID's going for.
And what's really interesting here is how it tries to solve a really tough problem in AI development,
Mm.
designing systems that can handle, like, the crazy complexities of real-world stuff.
Especially in healthcare.
Exactly.
So this paper, it's called MEDAIDE, Towards an Omni-Medical Aid via Specialized LLM-based Multi-Agent Collaboration. Now, I know you eat AI for breakfast, so let's unpack this.
Right,
This system, it uses multiple AI agents all working together.
right.
Can you break down this multi-agent approach for us? Like, what are the core pieces that make this thing tick?
Okay, so picture this.
Yes.
Instead of one gigantic AI brain trying to do it all,
Right.
MEDAIDE is set up like a team of specialist AI agents.
Okay.
Each agent has its own little zone of genius, its own specialty within the world of medicine. So when you ask it something or you describe a symptom,
Uh-huh.
the system breaks down your question, really trying to understand exactly what you need.
Right, like getting to the bottom of it.
Exactly. And then, based on what you need, it activates the right agents for the job.
So it's like having a whole panel of AI specialists, each with their own unique expertise,
Exactly.
ready to consult on your case. That's incredible. Now, the paper mentions these concepts, query rewriting and intent recognition,
Right.
which seem crucial to MEDAID's whole personalization thing.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really cool. So MEDAIDE is built on these things called LLMs, large language models.
Okay.
Basically, think of them as incredibly powerful language processors trained on, like, mountains of data. Now, query rewriting is all about making sure the LLM fully gets what you're asking, even if your question is super complicated or maybe phrased in a way that could confuse a less sophisticated system.
So it's like it's double checking, making sure it understands exactly what you mean, not just what you said.
Exactly. It's about getting rid of any ambiguity.
I see.
Uh,
So it's really trying to understand your intent.
Yes. And that's where intent recognition comes in. Once it's clear on what you're asking, it figures out what you're actually looking for.
Okay.
Are you worried about a specific symptom? Are you looking for advice about medication? Trying to make sense of some test results?
Right.
MIDI figures out what's up.
So it's really like MEDAIDE is trying to understand you, not just your words.
Exactly. It wants to give you the right specialist, the right advice for your situation.
Which is what makes this whole agent specialization thing so fascinating, right?
What? Absolutely.
The paper talks about these four main categories. It really caught my eye.
Right, because it's trying to be this holistic system. So you have pre-diagnosis, you have the diagnosis phase,
Yeah.
medication, and then post-diagnosis, it's like the whole package.
It's like having this virtual medical team with you every step of the way.
Totally.
From the very first, something feels a little bit off, to actually supporting your long-term health.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's walk through each of these agents. Let's say you're experiencing some symptoms, nothing too crazy, but you know something just feels off.
Right.
What happens then? Where does the pre-diagnosis agent come in?
So that's where the pre-diagnosis agent really shines, because it can take into account your whole medical history, your lifestyle, family history, even things like where you live, what's going on in the world, like are there any public health concerns right now?
Wow.
And based on all of that, it can give you an idea of any potential risks or even suggest some tests you might want to talk to your doctor about.
Okay, so it's like this really informed friend helping you figure out, like, okay, what are the next steps without jumping to conclusions? Just gives you some direction when you're not really sure what to do.
Exactly.
So let's say those symptoms keep hanging around.
Right.
You need to actually go see a doctor.
Right.
That's where the diagnosis agent comes in.
Right. So once you're at the point where it's like, okay, these are the possible conditions,
Yeah.
the diagnosis agent takes all that information from the pre-diagnosis stage, combines it with anything new, you tell it, what are your symptoms, how long have you had them, how bad are they, and then it can actually analyze test results.
Oh, wow.
So blood work, imaging, all of that, and compare it to its massive medical knowledge database.
So it's not just matching symptoms to a list, it's actually understanding all those nuances in the data.
Exactly.
This is amazing. This ability to actually understand test results and potentially even offer a preliminary diagnosis, that seems like a huge deal.
Oh, it's huge.
So could we potentially even get a second opinion from MEDAIDE?
Yeah, so that's one of the things it can do.
What?
It can cross-reference your case with all the knowledge it has
Right.
and potentially provide a second opinion, which could be really valuable.
That's a game changer, especially in situations where getting a second opinion the traditional way, it could take weeks, months even.
Exactly.
This really feels like it's democratizing access to specialized medical knowledge.
It really does.
But we know diagnosis is only one piece of the puzzle.
Right,
What happens when we start talking about treatment,
right.
management?
That's where the medication agent comes in.
Okay.
So this is your 24/7 pharmacist,
Right, yeah.
It can give you all the details about a specific drug, what are the potential side effects,
Yeah.
dosage recommendations, and maybe most importantly, is it safe to take with your other medications?
That's amazing. It's like having a personal drug interaction checker right there on your phone or whatever.
Exactly.
That could be life-saving.
It could be because so often we think about medication management in this very reactive way.
Right.
And this makes it proactive.
Yeah.
This is personalized.
Okay. And then, of course, it's not just about taking medication, right? We have to think about recovery, like the long game, the post-diagnosis world.
Right, exactly. And that's where this post-diagnosis agent, it really shines. It's all about getting you back on track and then keeping you there.
Okay.
It can personalize rehabilitation plans for you, like based on what's going on with you, how you're progressing. It can guide you on lifestyle changes. It can even offer emotional support
Oh, wow.
to help keep you motivated and engaged in your own health, like having a health coach available 24/7.
That's amazing.
To answer your questions, track your progress, give you a little cheerleading when you need it.
It's incredible to think about how all four of these agents working together
Yeah,
could really change the entire healthcare experience. We're talking personalized risk assessment,
right.
preliminary diagnoses, medication guidance, even those tailored rehab plans. It sounds almost too good to be true.
It does.
So how effective is MEDAIDE, actually? I know the paper mentioned some pretty promising results.
Yeah, the researchers, they really put MEDAIDE through the ringer, tested it on all kinds of tasks,
Yeah.
covering all four of those agent categories. And here's the thing. They didn't just use, like, made-up scenarios. They used these established benchmarks that really test how well a system understands and responds to all sorts of medical needs.
So really pushing it to see what it could do.
Yeah, like, can it recommend the right kind of doctor? Can it give you accurate info on drug interactions, things like that?
So they were really testing it in those real-world situations, those complexities that come up.
Yeah.
And how did it do?
It actually did amazingly well. Like, across all 17 medical intents they tested, MEDAIDE consistently beat out other cutting-edge AI models.
Really?
It showed a really deep understanding of all those medical nuances and was able to use its knowledge in these really practical ways.
That's incredible. So does this mean that, like, human doctors are going to be out of a job? Is MEDAIDE ready to be rolled out in hospitals tomorrow?
Well, as exciting as these results are, it's important to remember that this is still very much research.
Okay.
It's not quite ready for prime time yet. And the paper actually does a really good job of acknowledging that. It's very transparent about MEDAIDE's limitations.
Okay, so what are some of those hurdles that MEDAIDE still has to clear?
Well, one of the biggest ones is just how much medical knowledge is out there.
Right. It's constantly evolving.
Exactly. It's this huge, ever-changing landscape.
Mhm.
And MEDAIDEs, like any AI, it relies on these existing medical databases and guidelines.
Okay.
And while those are incredibly detailed, they can't possibly cover every single medical scenario.
Right, especially when you think about rare diseases or things that are outside the box, those unusual cases.
Exactly. So for now, we still very much need human expertise to handle those tricky situations.
That's good to know. It's reassuring to hear that AI isn't about to replace doctors entirely.
Definitely not yet. And another thing that MEDAIDE is still learning is how to process different types of medical data. Right now, it's really good at text-based stuff like reading medical reports, research papers, patient questions. But incorporating things like medical images, genetic information, that's still in the works.
Right, because visual diagnostics like reading an X-ray or an MRI, those are such a crucial part of healthcare.
They are. They're huge.
Yeah.
So figuring out how to bridge that gap, it's going to be essential for any AI that wants to provide truly comprehensive medical assistance.
It makes sense, but at the same time, it opens up so many exciting possibilities.
Oh, sure.
Like imagine an AI that can look at not just your medical history, your symptoms, but also your genetics, your biometric data from wearables, the whole picture.
Exactly. It's taking all of that and connecting the dots so you can be proactive, catch things early.
It feels like we're on the verge of this whole new era in healthcare.
We are. where technology helps both patients and doctors in ways we never even thought possible.
Moving from just treating illnesses to actually preventing them, empowering people to really take control of their own health journeys. Well, that's a future I'm excited to see unfold.
Me too.
And to our listener who sent in this incredible research, we hope this deep dive gave you plenty to think about. If you could ask MEDAIDE one medical question, what would it be, and how do you think it would respond?